Dumelang, Tsibinki. Welcome to another fire episode of the Mobile School Podcast. Remember, don't like, don't share, do not tell a friend, don't like literally, guys. Like, believe you me, nobody cares. Only YouTube cares because they want you to keep making videos so more people can watch, so they can make more money selling those people adverts, and then they give you some little change from that, and then you're excited, like, oh, I got paid for making content on YouTube. No, stop it. I'm not going to talk about the crash of crypto because not that I'm not well informed about the crypto situation, not that I don't care about Tether, not that I don't care about uh, what Celsius just did, but to be honest with you, it was just written all over the wall that this is going to blow up in our faces. The most important thing you need to understand is that you need to have rules. So if crypto is selling itself as, yo, we are a currency that has nobody telling it or making suggestions of how it should be moved in terms of like any currency in the world has uh, the the a governor, the governor, like the Reserve Bank has a governor who tells you like, okay, we need to increase our currency by these many basis points depending on inflation. And crypto's thing was like, yeah, but that's bullshit. Why should we have like somebody in America deciding like, okay, the dollar is becoming weak, let's increase or decrease like the basis point so it can stabilize. And crypto is like, no, that affects a whole lot of other countries, and it's not fair on those countries to have like one country deciding. It's a whole thing that you can just read about in less than 5 minutes and understand that they were on the right track to say we need an independent currency from governments because governments are corrupt, governments are controlled by certain powerful people in those societies. But talking about how YouTube is trying to get you guys to upload videos and just tell people how to subscribe. It's of course it's for you, they're paying you, but this brings me to this laziness that has come into our society of I want to be a content creator. Look, man, nobody cares about your content. My content is fucking amazing. It's about education and how it has changed and how that's going to affect future generations. Do you know how many views I get? 2. And that's me. Those 2 views, that's me. Still, don't like, don't share, don't subscribe. But the point that I'm trying to make and talk about today is diversity and inclusion. When do you ask for diversification in a company and inclusion of the previously marginalized people? Do you wait for it to blow up and become a success and then start complaining that, hey, there's not a lot of people in that crypto industry? There's not a lot of women in the crypto industry. There's not a lot of disabled people in the crypto industry. The question becomes, where were they when people now are losing money? We are not asking for diversity and inclusion when crypto is crashing. But as soon as it goes up again, which it will happen, let me tell you one thing about crypto. It's run by young white men. It's all they live for. They run this society. They have all these rules set up to make sure that they succeed. So even this is going to succeed eventually. So if we are not asking for diversity and inclusion while the chips are down, it's going to be very hard to wake up 3 years from now when crypto is selling for 200,000 and say, oh no, we need to have more black people, we need to have more black women, we need to have more women, we need to have disabled people, we need to have like POCs, people of color. But my point is that we need to get in these industries, go down with them if they go down, go up with them if they go up. But it's time to change our mindset. It's time for us to be in control. Like, I knew crypto was going to fail. Do you know how I knew? My mom told me about it. So here's one thing you need to understand about any industry. As soon as black women find out, it's already too late. I'll say that again. not to sound like Dr. Uma, but let me say that again. As soon as black women find out about a certain project, certain industry, and they are asked to join in for free, it's already too late. It's that simple. Here's the thing. When an industry is at the top, that means there's a whole lot of white men, Asians who are like killing it, making money. And that's when those are the people who take the biggest risks, those are the people who created the platforms. You look at Web3. Nobody's talking about Web3, but as soon as it pops off, wait for people to say, oh, we need inclusion, we need diversity, which is, do I think it's unfair considering that the people who are creating these platforms are people who come from privilege? I think there should be a balance. If you are trying to get in and you don't have the finances, trust me, those privileged motherfuckers are looking for more people, especially people who look like me, people who look like you. If you are disabled, people who look like you. If you are a black woman who would be part of the woke movement, Viagra, something that will get the woke movement up. Like, yes, there's a black woman in that industry, whether they are qualified or not. There's a black man there, whether they're qualified or not, doesn't matter. But we looked at the pictures. He's the head of security for the basement, and he's part of the team. We give him a percentage, 0.2. But as a people, and when I say as a people, I'm not just saying as a black people, I'm talking about as people who need to think differently, is that we need to start getting into industries before they blow up. Look at artificial intelligence, voice, Siri, hey Google, all those things. If you think about it, those are like, that's artificial intelligence that's been around for more than 10 years by now. But we don't even have one single department in Africa that only operates on voice, where you can walk into a building and say, I am here to get my birth certificate. Here's my ID number, and then they say, go to that thing, and then it recognizes your voice, it takes a picture of you, and it knows this is the picture that's on the same birth certificate or ID that this person is requiring. Facial recognition, artificial intelligence. So in closing, I would like us to start thinking about all these industries that are like bubbling under. Web3, crypto, we already know about it. I know because my mom told me about it. It's like, oh, do you know this cryptocurrency? I was like, short crypto, sell your cryptos. It's about to go down. So artificial intelligence, 5G, transportation, like we need to find new ways of mobility, like new mobility, and we shouldn't wait until like it's successful and we ask for inclusion. We need to start now. We need to start working now. With that said, I know you missed me, but yeah, inclusivity and diversity in corporates is very important, but let's not wait until it's too late to become beggars. If you are trying to get into artificial intelligence that utilizes facial recognition and you struggle to raise funding to create a hailing company or career company, like what we're trying to do with On The Way Anyway, using facial recognition, it's different from just waking up when Uber starts introducing like fingerprints to pay, because they understand, like in certain countries they are advanced. Like in South Africa, you can pay with cash. In a lot of countries, Uber, you don't pay with cash, but in South Africa, you pay with cash because people still don't have like credit cards. They don't use cards as often. They prefer cash. So these companies, these big companies, are learning how each and every country is moving without us. And then they're the ones who decide how we should move. So we need to start saying to them, like, hey, we need to introduce facial recognition for transportation. If you get into a taxi, there should be a camera that just looks at you and then you look at it and it goes tick-tock, and then you go take a seat. And the driver, after dropping all you motherfuckers off, goes to a bank. He just withdraws. Doesn't have to do too much. He just goes, I just did this trip, ding, and then any ATM, upside, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We need to have like a company that works with all these banks, which is what we're trying to do with on the way anyway, auto. But let's not wait until it's too late and become beggars. It's starting to become disgusting. It's like people are celebrating that crypto crashed, but if it had succeeded, we would have been the first one to say, include us in crypto. Like, dog, we don't even have electricity to mine crypto. What are we talking about? We talk about electric cars. Let's talk about electricity. Our governments are struggling to give us electricity consistently. When we want to talk about electric cars, how are we going to charge those cars? Let's not bullshit ourselves, guys. Let's focus on us. Let's work on what works for us. With that said, I'm not a podcast. I'm an independent TED Talk. Habash.